I just want to do something that I'm going to commit to.
I'm
Right.
so compelled to share, to pull other people out of their situation.
And I'm giving hope to women just like me who, probably felt unseen or probably.
It's just about finding what you love and what you're passionate about.
Do what you love. Do what you love.
And I really realized that this is what happens once you let go. You just create all that space,
It's about helping each other. It's about growing with each other. It's about being true to self.
To whom much is given, much is required.
You only ever have one obstacle, and that's yourself.
To commit to change, change your life, change your future. Hey, and welcome to Commit to Change, otherwise known as the C2C podcast that gives a voice to the people who may be considered a small fry in their industry, but are doing big things in their communities. This is Miss Nikki, the Jane of all trades, but the master at living. I am committed to introducing local VIPs, which are vivaciously inspiring people to encourage you on your daily journey, as well as let you know what is possibly happening in your area. And today, the area that I'm talking about is all the way in North Carolina. Did I say that right? Yes.
Yeah.
We have a wonderful guest today, and her name is Jilandra Coffin. Please say hi.
Hello.
Awesome. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about who she is, and then I'm going to give the floor to her so she can tell you a little bit more. So first and foremost, she is a nationally certified school psychologist and the owner of JC-Virtually LLC, Virtual Assistant Services. She's a loving wife and a mom of a 1-year-old. She has been working in the education and mental health field for 10 plus years. And this has included specializing in completing special education elevations, providing training education to parents and disabilities such as autism, dyslexia, and behavior management. She started her virtual assistant business because she enjoys working behind the scenes, helping businesses and teams create better organization and workflows, and ultimately more efficiency when completing their day-to-day business tasks. Specializing in working with entrepreneurs and businesses in the education field, please give a warm welcome again to Miss Jilandra Coffin.
Yay! Thank you so much. I need the background audience noise.
Yes.
Yes,
Wonderful.
thank you so much for having me. I greatly appreciate this opportunity to talk with you and share my story.
Absolutely.
So yes.
Yep.
Yeah,
the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. So yes, I've been working in the school system over 10 years. I started off as a pre-K assistant, but prior to that, I've been working with kids mostly all my life as a babysitter, working as a camp counselor. So I know I've always wanted to work with kids. So while I was in school, I majored in psychology, biology, and looking more into the mental health field. So while I was working as a pre-K assistant, I got my master's in psychology. And then I took some time to work as a school-based therapist. And then while working in the school, I got introduced to school psychology. And so I'm like, this is very interesting. I get to see the education, academic side, and the mental health field side, and be able to combine the two and help the student as a whole, help them and their family. So, I really enjoyed that. So I've been working as a school psychologist over the past 5 years now, working with all ages, starting from pre-K all the way up to high school and kids doing early college education. So I've seen all ages, and I've seen all different types of cases and behaviors. So I've seen it all. But now, really because of the pandemic, I've been working from home within the school system. And then this summer I decided, I want to start my own business. I really just want to see how this goes, and really maybe just see if I can have the freedom of working from home. I know school psychology will always be there. Maybe I can return once my daughter goes to school, but I would like to see, and I think after becoming a mother, sparked in me, like, I want to do something new and try something different for myself.
Mm-hmm.
So in July, I started my business, and I said, you know what, I'm just going to take a chance, and pray to God and like, let me just start this new venture and see how it goes. And I have just been blessed with how things have been going, the clients and connections that I've made in offering services and really just helping people in their businesses. I mean, I'm a helper, and I probably would work for free, but I know I have to pay bills. So I love doing what I'm doing with helping businesses, get organized, streamlining their processes and just getting better and being more productive in their businesses.
Okay. So first, let me say I'm super, super proud of you.
Thank
because
you.
that is a big step. And there are so many businesses that are like blooming and blossoming.
Mm-hmm.
Blossoming.
You got it.
Out of the COVID. And it's really, it's sad because of the situation, but at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, I love the idea that we are basically being shot back to basics.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe I was talking on another show where it is like we're really being forced now to bring the income back into the communities.
Yes.
Also, like the whole idea of the mom and pop shop, and where people are genuinely wanting to give back and work with their communities as opposed to like these bigger franchises that are just about making money and putting themselves in our communities, not really caring how they're affecting our families. And I think that is really great. First of all, definitely keep the psychology. If there's a way you could even do that online, like this is like key. So many people are being affected mentally because of this change. So that is definitely needed, and especially as a Black psychologist too. Oh, yeah. That is a gold mine for you. Yes. And we need it, and we definitely need it. Coming from someone who is about mental health, that is something that is near and dear to my heart. We need that, and someone who represents us. I have to tell you that out of all the years that I've had to see a counselor or a psychologist or a psychiatrist, I've only had one that was Black.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Only one. And it's definitely something that our communities need, just to feel some type of comfort and to feel that you're understood.
And it makes a difference. It definitely makes a difference on the type of counselor that you see. And I mean, and all counselors, they try to, be diverse and have that empathy, but sometimes if you don't have that understanding, or if you haven't lived through certain experiences, you're only going to go but so far with the client.
Right, exactly. And I think people are starting to see that it's time to really come out there and start to say something. At least I'm hoping, and for me, my goal is that let's bring it out there. You guys said start the conversation. Let's start the conversation, but keep it going, and let's bring in solutions, because that's what's important. And like you said, having somebody who understands is super, super key. So I know that's not what you're doing now, but I just had to talk about that part. I know right now you are working into assisting others with their businesses, which is something also good. That's even something that I'm looking for a VA right now. That is even essential right now because, again, of people's businesses that are blooming. Like you're a hot commodity at this point because it's needed. We need to build the communities together, the businesses together, and I know you're going to excel in what you're doing. So again, congratulations on that. I'm very, very proud of you for taking that step, especially with having a little one, because you already know that's already a juggle in itself.
It's been a journey, and my husband's upstairs with her now, and I'm like, please do your best to keep her quiet. We'll just see how it goes.
You know what? And it's okay, because listen, we about family on C2C, so it is okay.
I know.
No, I don't. Yeah, it is all right. I don't mind. I love it. And I mean, I would have been like, bring her on the show. But, I know parents are like, I can't concentrate if she's sitting with me.
And you know what? I think she's been on so many Zoom calls now. I feel like she's an expert because now whenever she sees the camera or she sees me on Zoom, she's waving and she's doing all of this. So I think she's used to it now.
I love it. I love it. So, I don't know if there's a different answer to this question of what inspired you to make this change. But I mean, you kind of said it with COVID, but I'm curious, was there anything else that just said, you know what, this is the direction that I want to go?
Gotcha. Yeah. A lot of it, COVID, I think, was just an additional piece, but I felt like I was kind of on this journey of just trying to maybe start my own business or maybe even work from home. I think just being a mom and just with my daughter and my pregnancy, I kind of had a rough pregnancy at the beginning. I had very bad morning sickness, almost multiple times a day.
Man.
It was very rough, and it got bad to the point because I was throwing up so much, I had swelling in my neck. And so I went to the doctor to get it checked out just to make sure. Sometimes it can be just swollen lymph nodes, just from that happening. And so the doctor said, you know what, let's get it checked out. Let's do a scan and let's see what happens. So they did, the x-ray where they check your neck. And then come to find out, I think I was 8 or 9 weeks pregnant, and they found a tumor on my thyroid. That was actually, I think the pregnancy, you have all these different hormones. I think it just exacerbated the tumor and it's showing itself, because prior to this, I've never had any problems with my thyroid, nothing whatsoever. So they found that it was an abnormal size. So I guess it's been there for years, but never noticed. So and it was diagnosed as thyroid cancer when it's a tumor of that size. So that was a lot, dealing with it during my pregnancy as well. So I was considered high risk during my pregnancy. So not only did I go to my regular OB appointments, but right across the street, I would go to the cancer center and see an oncologist and make sure she would check check the nodule, make sure it wasn't growing, make sure it wasn't affecting any other organs or nodules in my neck. And then the plan was, if everything was fine, to have my thyroid removed after I had my daughter. Well, we didn't know she was a girl at the time. It was a surprise. So I went throughout my pregnancy just doing that. And I did not really tell a lot of people that I was dealing with the cancer. And I think for me, it was, when you're pregnant, you're dealing with enough in itself. You want to make sure that you're okay and your baby's okay. And so I really didn't want to talk about it. My immediate family knew about it, but outside of that, I really didn't tell anybody, because I was like, I just want to focus on the baby and the baby being okay. And the Lord blessed me. I didn't have any other problems during the pregnancy with the thyroid. Everything was fine. I had her in June of 2019 via C-section. And then 8 weeks later, I had my full thyroidectomy. So I had my full thyroid taken. I don't know if you can see it. I usually have the scar just covered up just to keep it protected.
Okay, yeah.
But it's not really that bad. 8 weeks later, I had the full thyroidectomy and leaving my baby it was just over a night, but that was hard in itself, leaving her. But since then, I take medication that replaces my thyroid hormone. I take that every day. As of right now, I'm cancer-free, so I'm very thankful for that.
Hey.
But I still have to go and get checked out by the doctor every 6 months, and other check-ins with my thyroid doctor, just to make sure my levels are okay, getting blood work. But as of right now, I'm healthy, just without the thyroid.
Good.
So from that, and I think just, dealing with my pregnancy, and I was just, praying that, okay, God, I want to make it through this and be able to, see my baby and see her grow. And I think that kind of manifested in me. I love my work and I love being a psychologist, but I know being a parent and being home with my daughter And being with my family is even more important to me at this time. And so I think that's kind of what started those steps and laying the foundation of, okay, let me try to find something where I can still have that freedom. I can still make income and bring to the household and do something that I enjoy.
So since you've decided to start, have you, what would you say has been your biggest obstacle, and how have you overcome it, or if you're still overcoming it?
I think I'm still overcoming it. I guess it's just learning, being a new business owner. I mean, it is a lot of work. I mean, not just getting clients, but I think once now that I'm working with different clients, I'm really trying to nurture them, give them good customer service, and making sure I'm just doing the right things, making sure I'm following the steps right, making sure my business is aligned right, like with how I track my expenses, how I keep track of those things. How do I track my onboarding process with different clients? How do I track my own, like I have to do my own social media, my own organization management. It's a lot being a business owner, and I'm learning so much. So I think that's the biggest obstacle, in not getting discouraged or overwhelmed. I think that's the biggest thing, not getting too overwhelmed and be like, you know what, this is too much. I don't want to do it anymore, and pushing through that.
Right. And you hit the nail on the head when you said it's a lot of work. So many people are so big, they want to be like, I'm a boss, I'm gonna be a boss. And you don't realize a lot that comes into being a boss, because what's crazy is when you look at like working for somebody, that person that is ahead of you, they might be the boss, but they're not really the boss unless they're the owner of the company, right?
Yeah.
And even still, they have systems in place that handle the things like the social media, the accounting, the human resources, the insurance, all of those things. That now when you make the decision, say, I'm gonna do my own thing, I'm just gonna be a boss, you have just now taken on all those departments by yourself, not just the guy who's telling people what to do. And so a lot of people, some people, I don't say a lot of people, but some people, when they go into that realm and they see like, oh my God, this is a lot more than I had expected. They're immediately ready to go back to like, okay, I'm okay with working for someone else. Just tell me what you need me to do. I'm good. I'll just do that. But when someone decides to move into their own business, they see the work that they have to put into it, and then they dive in and they're passionate about it. It takes a really special person to do that.
Yes.
And you are one of those special people. So keep moving forward. You can do it. And it's exciting to see something growing from the beginning, and especially with having the root of it being that your decision to put more into family and being there for your daughter. And that is an example for her to see that she is capable to do something like that and to follow mom's footsteps. So that's so awesome. Like, it's just more than just starting a business. Like, you're really building, that whole saying of building,
generational
wealth. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And that wealth is not just financially, but it's education, it's experience, it's the whole shebang. So that's so cool. So throughout this process, who would you say has been your biggest supporter?
Yes. And you know what was funny? My husband and I, we were, reviewing the questions yesterday, and I was telling him, who was my biggest supporter? He was like, I know you're not gonna say me. I said, why do you think that? He said, well, I mean, I support you. I just want to make sure you're making money. So, like, and I told him that's why he's my biggest supporter, because, I mean, through this and while I've been working, I started working part-time actually in January, just so I can work less and be home with my daughter. He was fully supportive of it. And for him, he works hard. My husband is a nurse practitioner for the hospital here.
Oh, wow.
So he's been working, through COVID and everything, and taking extra shifts, working at the COVID testing sites, working extra shifts in urgent care, just to make sure, our bills are still getting paid, and we're on track of, paying off our student loans. So for him, like, I want to do well because I want to, make sure I'm contributing to our family so he doesn't have to have that stress of trying to take care of everything himself.
Right.
So he's definitely my biggest supporter, even though if he doesn't.
He doesn't say. So what is his name?
Keelan.
Thank you. We like to thank our supporters here because support is big and is needed. Some people don't have it. So we like to thank those who are being supportive, especially when it's your hubby. So yes, yay, thank you.
Yes.
So how do you feel that you are adding value to your community?
Yes. I mean, prior to COVID, like in the church, was very active with our children's ministry and doing like Sunday school classes and teaching classes. Like I said, I feel like I'm a teacher at heart, so I love working with the kids. So I will hope, once we get back in the church, it's something I can do, especially with my daughter and being able to teach her. That would be great. But I have found, being a mom now, being in that space of community with other mothers. So I have really strived to be connected with other mothers, especially other Black mothers, via Facebook groups or other mom groups, and just trying to be a resource to them, whether anything they need, like, okay, where do I go to get, clothes, or where can I go to find another mom group for postpartum help? Because for me, that really, I think, helped me stay away from postpartum depression, because I stayed connected, whether it was, even if I stayed home, I was connecting with somebody on Facebook. If I had a question late at night, hey, my daughter, she's having trouble with breastfeeding. I know there was a mom that was going to answer me and give me, some type of support or encouragement or some knowledge that I needed. So I feel like I still want to continue that. And then hopefully, once we can get back together, I can be able to do that more, meet up with other mothers and just make those different type of connections.
Right. And a support group is really essential. Again, with people who are going through the same process as you, they understand the steps, or they understand the process and help you walk through. I wish that I had that after my second daughter, because I had postpartum really bad at that time. And at that time I was in the military. And so, I know Facebook was out back then, but I don't think people really, they weren't using it. Not like, I mean, people were still switching over, I think, from Black Planet. You know what I mean? Like,
oh gosh. I remember Black Planet. Oh gosh. I don't even want to know, like, look at my old profile.
Wait, I found it. I found my old profile last year because when I was living over in Germany, some of the people that I lived with, but they lived in the same housing complex, they were like, they had a Black Planet. I was like, what? You had a Black Planet? This was a German woman.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, I wonder if my account is still up. And I looked, and I was looking at these pictures, and like, my babies were little bitties at that time. And I was just like, oh my goodness, this is so crazy to go back and just to see the difference between the two. Yeah. Like, Black Planet was a very dark looking website. Like, all the pages were very dark. Like, if you think like Facebook is so like bright and
it's bright and inviting.
Yeah, so, but MySpace, I mean, what did I say?
Black Planet. You said
Black Planet. MySpace. Wait.
That's a whole other
that's
thing
what
too.
I meant. Sorry. MySpace. Oh, wait a minute.
I mean, those were both of the two main platforms.
Wait a minute now. Now I'm trying to think which one did I go on to? Was it Black? No, I think it was. Now I need to go check.
Go check. I'm gonna have to check and see if mine is still up too.
Well, it was one of those platforms, but now I have to go check to see both of them.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just remember it was both of them were dark. I just remember that. But I guess that was the times. It's pretty funny. Anyway, I digress. I was talking about support. I wish there was support back then, but having postpartum is something that it can really affect your mothering and long term if you don't get it taken care of. So it's really nice that you were able to find that support system to get you through. So with knowing how those support groups and things work, and then now you jumping into the other side of being an entrepreneur, and see, so you have both aspects, like what advice would you give someone who is kind of like feeling like, I want change, I want something different. They're as I say, sitting on the fence of the field of their dreams, but they can't just take that next step. What advice would you give someone like that?
Yes. And a lot of what I do in my services, I feel like it's tied still to psychology and just working on behavior. I'm very data driven too. And then also in providing interventions to students and giving advice to teachers, I will always say, when we're making goals, make them short term and SMART goals, like the acronym SMART goals, like making them specific, making them measurable, make sure they're actually attainable. Like, is it actually something that you know you're going to be able to do? Is it relevant to you? And it has to be time-based. You can't just say, oh, I want to make this money. I want to make like 3 times the amount of my current income. Like, but how soon? You need, and do we need to break it down? Do you need to say, okay, in 3 months, I want to make this amount. And then after that, I want to make this amount. You need to make it specific. So I think that is a good tip, just thinking of those type of SMART goals. Right.
So before you jumped into your business, did you take that steps, or did you went all in and then you were like, oh, maybe I need to backtrack? You know, some people just go, I'm a person, I just jump in. I try to plan, but then I'm just so anxious to get in there, and then I adjust as I'm in there. So are you more of a person that's like, no, listen, I need to write about this, and then we go into it?
Yeah, I'm definitely a planner. A lot of my friends, like they will say like, yeah, I'm that mother type of that group. Like, I have to know, like, what are we doing? I need to know what's next. And I'm kind of that person. And I knew in my mind, I wanted to start the business, but I said, okay, when are you going to do it? I said, okay, July 1st. That's exactly when I'm going to start. I knew that was my start date. And I knew what I needed to do in order to get ready to announce that to everybody. Okay, I'm starting my business on July 1st.
Wow. And did you find support from like your family and your friends, or were they like, girl, you crazy?
I did get support. Like, I mean, I told my family, and a lot of them were like, what is a virtual assistant? They didn't really know what that was. A lot of people said, what was it on, Sex and the City? And on the second movie, when Jennifer Hudson was Carrie, the main character's assistant, that's what they think, like that person that, and she did good. She organized her life and she helped her through that rough spot. So they kind of think I'm like Jennifer Hudson in the movie. I'm like, that's fine, because I mean, she did help her and she was successful in getting her back on track, especially when she was in a dark time in the movie.
Okay. Miss, how can we change it? Well, you're almost the same as JC, but it's JH, but whatever, never mind. You, your own person.
I got you.
I don't know what I was trying to do.
I got you. I knew. I got a little bit of what you were trying to do.
I was trying, but I failed miserably. It's all right.
Okay.
All right, Jilandra, it is time for the lightning round.
Yes.
Ooh, ready? You excited?
I think so.
You ready?
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
We need like that music, like.
I know. I keep saying it. I need one of those with the DJs have, and they push it, and so then it'll be like lightning round.
Yes. That would be great.
Or something. Eventually, I'm putting that on my list. That's like my bucket list or my to-do list eventually when I get situated. Like right now, I'm staying at my sister's because I think in the email it says I just came back to the U.S.
Yes,
so I'm
from
still
Germany.
getting situated. Yeah, so I'm getting situated. And so, but when I do, That is on my list. Get me so I can push that button. Although I don't know how that will sound through the microphone system.
Oh, I got you.
I may have to do it on the during the editing, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, lightning round. Here we go. I'm going to ask you 5 questions, and then you answer. If you feel that you need to explain an answer, feel free. I know I always say, let's do it fast, but sometimes it doesn't happen that way. It's okay.
Got you.
We want the audience to know you, love you, the whole shebang. All right, here we go.
Yes.
First question. What initially held you back from committing your life to this change of being an entrepreneur, if anything did?
I think just the fear of, will I be able to make consistent income out of this? I think that's the biggest thing. Yeah, consistency.
Okay. And what was the best advice you have ever received?
I think from my dad. I remember most summers, kids think, they have the summer off. But my dad was like, no, he had me either in something, like whether it's sports, at a camp, or reading, doing a book report. Because he said, your brain stops working over the summer when you're not at school. So we need to make sure that you never stop learning. Make sure you're always learning. Make sure you're always doing something. So I try to keep that in mind.
Okay. Thanks, Dad, for the advice. So share a personal habit that contributes to your success.
I think over the years, my practice with yoga has been very, very helpful and rewarding to me. I did it a lot before my pregnancy. I did it during my pregnancy. And even after the yoga studio that I went to, they had Mommy and Me yoga. So that was also my other avenue of being able to get out and be with other moms. So for me, I signed up, because you have to sign up online, and if you try to cancel within a certain amount of time, you don't get your money back. So that was my, incentive, okay, I already paid for this class. I know what I need to do, prepare, get the baby ready. And usually every time we would get in the car, she would poop or have a blowout, but I was like, it doesn't matter. I had everything I needed. I'm going to the class. So I feel like yoga has been my saving grace. It's very just helpful just in meditation and keeping me grounded.
Yes. Yoga saved your life. Yoga saved your life. Okay. What book would you recommend to the C2C audience and why?
Let's see. And I know a lot of people probably do business books. And I haven't really started. They do other ones.
We have a range.
I really love Gabrielle Union's book, We're Going to Need More Wine.
Yes.
I've followed her just over the years, and she's just my goals and inspiration, when I get older, because she still looks like she's 21 and she's almost 50. She's ultimate goals for me, but her story was just so inspiring, just everything she's been through. I think that was a very good book.
I was actually surprised.
Yes.
I was very surprised, and it made me look at her totally different. Different. Yeah, so that's a good read. Yes. All right, here's your deep question. If you only had 1 hour left to live, and you were given the opportunity to share one final message, what would it be?
I think it's just enjoy your time with loved ones and spend time laughing. For me, I love to laugh. I love to be silly. My husband and I, we love watching comedies. Martin is our favorite comedy. We watch it on rerun all the time. We know about every single word. We know all the trivia, but I love to laugh. And I would say if I had an hour left to live, that's what I would be spending doing, just smiling.
Yes. I love that. So you have to tell me, do you have a favorite episode?
Oh gosh, I have countless ones. The Pain Robbery. I think that's the episode name, where first or second season where Martin thought one of his friends stole his CD player. And so he made them come over to the house, like dressed in all black, like he was a detective. And he had the little fake dog. I mean, like, it was just hilarious. And then Bruh Man came in and he was the one that took it the whole time.
Yes. So, you know, it's so funny and it's so weird that you even, because that is the exact episode that I was thinking about. That's
really?
Because that's when he was pretending like it was New Jack City.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, is that the movie that is from?
Yes. But that is so fun. That is what I envisioned him pulling that Doberman Pinscher or whatever it was that he had, and him doing that like the dog. That episode. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that show was just, that was on it. Like you could watch them, like you said, just over and over and just will crack up every single time. But that's so funny that you said that episode, because that is the one that came to mind when I asked you that question. So like now my cheeks hurt from smiling, because that is so hilarious. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Oh my God. We're done with the questions. So now okay. I know, right? It's so crazy. So you know what? Please tell our audience where they can find out more about you, where they can find out where to hire you, bring you in. Talk to our audience. Tell them where to find you.
Yeah. So like I said, I mean, I'm still growing in my business, so I don't have like any special offers or memberships right now. I am just focusing on my zone of genius and helping businesses get organized. And I guess my tagline is helping you turn your to-do list into a done list. So that is my main goal, to help people. So right now, so people can find me on Instagram at JC-Virtually. And so I also have a link in my bio with my portfolio and the services that I provide. But on my page, I mean, I don't only talk about my services. I try to still bring my school psychologist background into it, and my different tips on how I stay organized, how to do self-care, keeping that, like, because I think, September is self-care month, so I'm trying to highlight that as well. And I try to give tips on how to work at home as a mom with a toddler. So you will definitely see a lot of pictures of my daughter and us just trying to make it.
I love it. I love it. Oh man, it has been a pleasure. I can't believe it's over. Oh.
Yes, thank you so much. I mean, like, I was nervous because this was my first podcast, but I mean, you have made me feel very comfortable and just right at home.
Well, I'm glad, and I am honored that I was your first. Yes. So that's a wrap. Again, thank you so much, Jilandra Coffin, for being a VIP guest on the C2C podcast. And thank you to all of our listeners for tuning in. We hope that you feel inspired and keep moving forward towards your goals and stick with or make a commitment to change your life. Please make sure to check out the links provided by our guests and share today's podcast with anyone that you believe will benefit from it. And remember, in order to get to the top of the steps, you have to take the first step. But just don't step on anyone on the way, because you just might trip. This is Miss Nikki. Till next time. Bye.
Bye.
Change your life, change your future. Welcome.